So we live in abject fear of the one that we're supposed to be connected to, because they've told us you gotta walk this tightrope and this line, and if you walk along the line, he's gonna send you to hell. You could live 30 years worshiping and living for him, make one error, and if you die in that error, you go into hell. What in the name of common sense does that mean? Are you crazy? Why would I even serve him if he's that sadistic and masochistic? I don't need a God like that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my screw ups, my mess ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Listen, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. I didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. tiny. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Emerge, the Emerge movement, where we're empowering people on their journey towards spiritual wholeness. I'm your host, Isaac Miles Sr., and I am so glad that you've decided to be a part of this conscious conversation tonight, this moment of enlightenment, this time for us to be able to share in the dialogue or around specific points that are pertinent to spiritual growth, development, and our own evolutionary journey. I'm so glad that you're here with me tonight. And those of you that are on right now, I'm going to ask that you will please take a moment and tag and share with as many people as you possibly can. Let's see if we can't get these numbers up and invite others to come and join us in this conversation tonight. Go ahead and start tagging and sharing with them right now. I see you, Diana and Toya. I see you, Bree. I see you, Theresa. I see you, Dee Dee. I see all of you. Thank you so much for being on with me, as well as others of you who haven't said anything yet. If you're on with me right now, just take a moment and say hi in the comments. All I can see is numbers if you don't say something in the comments. So say hi or something. Just let me know that you're on there. Bishop, my brother, he's joining us tonight. Amen. We still got to get together, man, and do like a joint live one time. I'd love to be able to create a dialogue with the two of us together. I think it would be very helpful and very enlightening and fun. It would be loads and tons of fun together. So we got to make that happen real soon, man. We got to make it happen. So yeah, I'm glad for all of you that are joining me and that are on. Tag and share if you will. Now, I do want to just remind you, let me put the banner up right now, that if you want to always make sure that you are present for our conscious conversations, if you haven't done so already, there it is. Make sure you sign up for our free text notification. That way, right before we come on the air, you'll always receive a text to let you know we're getting ready to come on. You'll usually get it within 15, 30 minutes prior to us coming onto the air so that you can prepare yourself to join us in these conversations. It's very easy to do, and it doesn't cost you a dime. All it costs you is about 30 seconds of your time to text the word EMERGE to 833-444-0163, and you are automatically signed up for our text notification. It's absolutely free, and you'll never miss one of our conversations. You'll always be alerted when we're on, and even if you can't join the live, then you'll know that we've posted, and so you'll be able to go over and watch it on the replay. So go ahead and take a moment and do that right now. Text the word EMERGE to 833-444-0163, and you will be automatically signed up. I do want to invite you also to go over and to visit the website at www.aimministries.org. Put that on the screen for you as well. Visit the website, and there you'll find more information about the Emerge movement, information about me, as well as other things that are there to offer. There is a bookshop and a bookstore rather, and where a place where you can shop for different products and books and T-shirts and what you call those things, hoodies and caps and other paraphernalia that's there. If you're interested in, you'll be able to order from there. There's also our mentorship program. It tells you everything about our mentorship program that is available for those of you who would like that one-on-one life coaching and mentorship. You'll find the information there on the website. There's a lot of good information there, so just go over and check it out at your leisure. Okay? At your leisure. All right, so tonight we are talking again about the adventures of the soul. The adventures of the soul. And we began this conversation yesterday where I thought I was going to just give you those four foundational truths that you needed to really think about and to concentrate on to set us up for the conversation. And we ended up having a more extensive conversation yesterday than what I had initially planned, but that's okay. I'm glad that we did, and many of you have contacted me and told me that you were blessed by the conversation, and so I'm glad that we were able to do that. I'm glad that we did. But I do want to repeat those initial foundational truths, some foundational truths that I want you to wrap your mind around, to hold in the forefront of your mind as we are going through this conversation, that are going to be very important and helpful, and serve as the substratum or foundation for everything that we'll be discussing concerning the adventures of the soul. Okay, so let's just review those very quickly again without unpacking or expounding upon them too much again, because we did that already. These four, and I'm going to add a fifth one, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time expounding on it. I just need you to hold those as a truth in your mind. As always in these conversations, in our dialogue, I am sharing with you insight, revelation, and understanding that I have gained through my relationship and growth and development with the divine, with God, the all of everything. And so it is filtered through my own soul, therefore my own experiences, background, and so on and so forth, and things that have influenced me. So as with me, what is true for me is true for every person. You don't take anything that anyone says to you as just absolute gospel. Research it, study it for yourself, see how it resonates with you. Eat the fish and spit out the bones. If it resonates with you, hold on to it. Hold fast to it, apply it to your life. If it serves you, if it works for you, if it works to your highest good, hold on to it. If it does not, if it doesn't suit you, fit you, or doesn't resonate with you, then set it to the side, dismiss it, and move on and move forward. It's not personal, okay? It's not personal at all. I don't take anything personal. I'm going to turn on my fan because I'm getting a little warm already and I'm just getting started. It's not working. Okay. Something else may have happened. Anyway, I got a towel, so I'll use that. But if it resonates with you, I want you to take it and apply it and use it for your life. My goal for this platform is to empower you. To empower you with the tools necessary for you to be able to curate and create the kind of life that you want to have. I'm not here to attack anyone or to attack anything, or I'm not anti anything. I am 100% for God, because God is for us, and everything is for us. Nothing is against us, okay? So I am here to feed and encourage the divine part of you. That is all right? That is all. All right, so here are these foundational truths. And again, I'm going to add one to the four, so it's going to be five. Number one, that we are one with God, literally one with God. There is no separation. We are the divine, unique expression and experience of God. We possess the fullness of the Godhead bodily. We are all that God is, and all that is God is us. We are divine. We are divinity in jeans and skirts and dresses and shirts and suits and boots and sandals. We are walking, living, breathing divinity. We are one with God. And as a result of that, all of us being a unique individuation or expression of God, then we are one with each other. What makes us a unique individuation, a unique expression, a unique incarnation is our individuation in human form, but we are all a part of the whole. We are all a part of the one. So we are literally one with God and literally one with each other. So that whenever you encounter another human being, you are encountering a different aspect of yourself, a different expression of yourself, a different experience of yourself. You are literally encountering another part of you in a different form. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So we are one with God, literally one with God, literally one with each other. And then the third one is that we are not our bodies. I really need for you to hold on to that understanding. You are not your body. I am not my body. I am that divine force, energy, spirit, life, whatever terminology that you want to use to express it, whatever your experience, background, or cultural understanding of it is. You are that life force. You are that energy. You are that spirit. You are that force. You are that power. You're that presence. You're that divineness, that light, that sun, that goodness. You are that, okay? You are not your body. Your body is simply the vehicle. It is simply the vehicle or the vessel that in which you inhabit during your three-dimensional iteration in this earth. Let me say that again, that your body is literally just the vehicle or the vessel through which you are able to experience yourself in this three-dimensional earth. You are not your body. You are divine spirit, energy, force, or whatever terminology. I'm going to use spirit. I'll probably interchange them all, okay? You are divine, okay? You are divinity, and you have a body, and you also have a soul. You are divine spirit that has a conscious awareness called a soul, a consciousness, intuitiveness, the seat of your intellect, feelings, emotions, attachments is soul. Soul is the vehicle or vessel through which the spirit that is you is able to express and experience itself in the earth and experience itself in the universe. Soul is the vehicle through which the spirit is able to experience and express itself in the earth and across the multiverse, throughout the universe, in every dimension, time, or space. That is soul. That is not your body. Okay? You are not your body. As I explained before, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but I just want to make sure that we understand it, because we are talking about the adventures of the soul. So we are talking about your adventure as divine spirit, okay, absent from the body, and as well as present with the body. But as I told you before, that you think you see with your eyes or hear with your ears or smell with your nose or taste with your mouth, but you don't, because you can go into any funeral home or go to any place where any morgue, and you will see bodies there that have eyes but they can't see, ears but they can't hear, nose but they can't smell, mouth but they cannot speak or taste. Why? Because there is an absence of spirit there. When the spirit leaves the body, when the soul has left the body, then it ceases to work, to function. It ceases to be viable. It's no longer animated. And so the tools, these three-dimensional tools, are vessels that are used for the soul to experience itself in this three-dimensional form in this world, are only as viable as the soul. They only function in the presence of divine spirit and soul. Are you understanding what I'm saying? You are not your body. That's why you will eventually shed this body. We will all eventually transition and be transformed out of this body. Okay? Because it is not who we are. It is a earth suit that we put on in order to experience and express ourselves in this three-dimensional world. Number one was you are one with God, literally one with God, which means you are literally one with all mankind, all humanity. That number three, you are not your body. And then number four, you are divine in every sense of the word. I need you to hold on to that and hold that in the forefront of your mind, that you are divine in every sense of the word. That everything that God, spirit, energy, force, light, whatever you want to call it, whatever God is, you are, and whatever you are, God is. There is no separation, no different. And what makes you a divine spirit is the four omnis: omnipresence, omnipotent, omniscient, and omniactive. That you are all powerful, that you are ever present, that you are all knowing, and that you are all active, that is always creating, always cultivating and creating, that in every moment you are creating the next moment of your reality, that you live, you and I, you live in the matrix of the reality of your own creation. Let me say that again. I hope that this registers and resonates with you. Each and every individual, each of us as an individuation of the divine, live in the matrix of the reality that we create. Nothing just happens. Nothing just occurs. Nothing just pops up in your life. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. There are no chance encounters. Everything that occurs in your life, it has been created by you. Because you are constantly in a state of creation, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are creating the matrix of your reality. You are creating the world in which you live. You are creating your present reality, your present lived experience, and you are doing it specifically for you. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So we are literally one with God, therefore literally one with each other. We are not our bodies. And finally, we are divine in every sense of the word. And I want to add this fifth universal truth that I want you to hold to, and that is love is all there is. Let me say that again. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Everything outside of the spectrum, outside of the parameters of love, is an anomaly. It is an illusion, a delusion. It is a self-delusion created by self, but love is all there is. You are love. You are all that love is, and you are innately, by nature, a creature or creation of love. You are not looking for love, you are love. If you are looking for love, you are looking for who you are, and you are doing so ignorantly because you are unaware that you are exactly what you are looking for. I know today is Valentine's Day, and there are some who are like, well, I don't have a Valentine. Yes, you do. It's you, because you are what you are looking for. You are what you are waiting for. You are what you have been searching for. You are not looking to find love. You're not hoping for someone to give you love. You are love. And that love is so powerful and so intense and such an enormous, immutable force that it reproduces itself in everything that you come in contact with, as long as you are consciously aware of your nature as being love. Love is not a feeling, it's a force, it's an energy, it's a spirit. Let me say it again. It's a force, it's an energy, it's a spirit. In the Bible it says God is love. Now that everything in the Bible is not accurate, but that's an accurate statement. Everything that God is love, and love is God. And since you and I are the offspring of God, that means we are love, because God is love. And how powerful and how intense and how transformative love is that it transforms and transitions everything it encounters and it touches. The scriptures say that we love God because it first loved us. In other words, that God loved us with such intensity and force, with such power and energy, that love then began to transform our consciousness, our mindset, our focus, and drew us in to where we begin to align with the love that was being beamed or aimed toward us. And I'm saying that when you understand that you are love, that love is all there is, then everything and everyone you encounter will have to align itself with the vibrational energy of love that you are that comes emitting from you. Yes, that you are emitting rather from you, transmuting all other energies around you so that they align to, or they replicate the energy that you are giving off. You are love. Love is all there is. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So we are one with God, literally one with God, one as God, in us, through us, as us, one with God, and therefore literally one with each other. That we are not our body, we are divine spirit using this vehicle as a means to experience and express ourselves in this three-dimensional world we call Earth. We are not our bodies. We are divine in every sense of the word. We are all powerful, all knowing, always present in every place at the same time, and omniactive constantly, whether consciously or unconsciously, creating and curating. Okay? That is who we are. And love is all there is. That is the nature of our being. That is the soul's, this is no pun intended, but it's just the best word. That is the soul's responsibility, and it's soul objective. The soul's sole objective is to experience and express itself in three-dimensional form in this earth, and then to experience and express itself across the multiverse, throughout the universe, and across space and time. The experience is the goal. The experience is the objective. You see, before the beginning began, Lord have mercy. I don't want to go too far off because I do want to get into the soul adventure, but this is going to be quick. I'm just going to layer this in. That before the beginning began, the all of everything is all there was. The all of everything is all that there was. And it knew itself conceptually, but it was impossible for it to know itself experientially because it was all that it was. So in order for it to know itself experientially, it had to allow itself to individualize itself in form so that could experience what is, so that it could now not only conceptually know itself as all of everything, but then begin to experientially know itself as the all of everything. So St. John puts it like this, that in the beginning was a logos, was a thought, an idea, a concept, an image, an imagination. And that imagination was with God, and that imagination, a thought, an image, a concept was indeed God. But in order for it to know itself experientially, it had to make its thought, idea, concept, imagination in the form. And so the word, the logos, the thought, the idea, the concept, that imagination, that image became flesh. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So that the divine could experience and know itself experientially. So the divine could experience and express itself. And that divinity is given a soul consciousness, a soul consciousness that is godly aware, but also self-aware and aware of the world around it. That is the nephesh, the breath of life, the nephesh. And man becomes a living nephesh in the Hebrew, or suke in the soul, a living psyche or living consciousness, consciously aware of itself and aware of its surroundings, so that it can consciously begin to experience and express itself in three-dimensional form. What an ingenious way for the all of everything to know itself, is to put itself, individualize itself in form, multiple billions and trillions and gajillions of forms, so that it can fully experience and express itself as the divine all of everything that it is. But imagine this limitless, boundless, endless, infinite soul now entering into three-dimensional form, a soul that has been experienced the limitless infinity of divinity that encompasses all of the universe and all that is, now being housed and limited to the abilities of a form, of a thing, a person, a place, a thing, a form, an image, a likeness. How does the soul handle such constraint? How does it handle being so constrained, so limited, because it is now shut within this form? Are you understanding what I'm saying? You see, I'm going to start to read from my notes. These are notes from a conversation that I've had with God, that ongoing conversation that I've talked to you guys about, that lasted for about 2 months, almost 3 months, I think. Literally every single day, where I was just asking questions and getting answers and taking notes as fast as I can. Okay? And I'm going to read you an excerpt surrounding this portion of the conversation where we talked about the soul. Here is what God said to me. Any attempt to restrict the natural expression of love is a denial of the experience of freedom, and thus a denial of the soul itself. Because remember that love is all there is. We are love. And so any attempt to restrict the natural expression of love, and that was part of a much larger conversation that about human sexuality, that we will get into at another time, is a denial of the experience of freedom, and thus a denial of the soul itself. Listen to what he said. For the soul is freedom personified. God is freedom by definition, for God is limitless and without restriction of any kind. But the soul is freedom personified or experienced and expressed. The spirit is God individualized. The soul is God miniaturized and expressed and experienced. Therefore, the soul rebels against any imposition of limitation, and it dies a new death each time it accepts boundaries from without. In this sense, birth itself is almost like a death for the soul, and death is like a birth. Did you hear what I said? Because the soul resists limitations of any kind, then that birth is like a death to the soul, while death is like a birth, because the birthing forces the soul into a limited space, limited arena, and the limited functionality of the form in which it is individualizing. At death, when we transition from this three-dimensional form, it's almost like a birth for the soul, where it is now free of the encumbrances and the confinements and the constrictions of the three-dimensional form. For in birth, he said, I'm going to continue reading. For in birth, the soul finds itself constricted within the awful limitations of the body, but at death, it escapes those constrictions again. It does the same thing during sleep. back to freedom, the soul flies and rejoices once again with the expression and the experience of its true nature. Yet can its true nature be expressed or experienced while within the body? This is the question that you've asked. And it drives the very reason and purpose of life itself. For if life with the body is nothing more than a prison or limitation, then what good can come of it, and what can be its function, much less its justification? Which is exactly what I was wondering. Then why ever take on form? And here was the answer. The point I'm trying to make, it said, this is what the divine said. The point I'm trying to make is that the soul will always rebel at limitations of any kind. However, in the body, the soul finds purpose, intention, and focus for its omniactive creative force. So it is blissfully fulfilling for the soul in fulfilling its purpose, while it is also frustrating for the soul because it is frustrating for the soul as it is limited by the limitations of the body. This is a divine dichotomy. A dichotomy is where two seemingly opposing views or opposing things can both coexist while both remain true. Okay? This is the divine dichotomy. That the soul is blissfully fulfilled in the purpose of it being within the body because it finds purpose for its omniactive ability, its ability to create, its ability to curate, its ability to manifest. It finds purpose within the body, yet it is still frustrated at the same time with the limitations that the body imposes upon it. Listen, it continued. You said, if the soul is so unhappy in the body, why doesn't it just leave? Well, the answer is, it does. Did you? This is gonna blow your mind. It's gonna help you. The answer is, it does. And I don't just mean only in death, as I've just explained, but it does not leave because it's unhappy. Rather, it leaves because it wishes to regenerate and rejuvenate itself, to express itself freely without limitations. I asked, how often does it do this? God responds, every day. Every day. And he said, every day. The soul leaves your body all the time, continually throughout your life. This is why we invented sleep. Can I tell you, when I heard this, I gasped. He said, yet the soul leaves your body every day, continually throughout your lifetime, this iteration of life. This is why we invented sleep. And it uses the term we because it is not speaking of itself singularly, but itself as the all of us. That before our incarnation, before the beginning began, we, in knowing all things, invented this thing called sleep to give the soul opportunity to leave the body so it can rejuvenate, regenerate, and experience and express itself without limitation. Listen, I'm going to continue to read what it said. Periodically throughout your life, the soul seeks rejuvenation and refueling, if you will. so that it can continue lumbering along in its carrying you along in this carrier you call a body. You think it's easy for the soul to inhabit the body? It's not. It may be simple, but it's not easy. It's a joy, but it's not easy. It's the most difficult thing your soul has ever done. The soul, which knows a lightness and a freedom from which you can't even begin to imagine, yearns for that state of being again. Just as a child who loves school can yearn for summer vacation, just as an adult who yearns for company can also, while having company, yearn to be alone. Divine dichotomy. The soul seeks a true state of being. The soul is lightness and freedom. It is also peace and joy. It is also limitlessness, painlessness, perfect wisdom, perfect love. It is all these things and more. Yet, it experiences precious few of these things while it is in the body. So it is made an arrangement with itself. It told itself it would stay with the body as long as it needs to in order to create and experience itself as it now chooses, but only if it could leave the body whenever it wishes. And it does this daily through the experience you call sleep. Hold on, I'm going to pause because I see a question coming up. Hold on. Teresa says, so does that mean it begins to know itself through the knowledge of good and evil, even though love is all there is? Does that mean love is good and evil? That's a very good question. That's okay. That's going to kind of take me off a little curve, but that's okay because I want to answer the question. That's a very good question. Yes. If you honestly, if we were to embrace or examine the whole allegory of the creation as found in Genesis, what you will find is that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's not the tree of good and evil. It is the tree of the awareness, the consciousness, the knowledge of good and evil is placed in the garden, and that Adam and Eve, and that's a whole nother conversation about what those two really represent, but I'm not going to get into that piece right there. But in order for Adam and Eve to really fully be God in the earth and to experience and express themselves in the earth, they needed to eat of the tree so that they could be consciously aware of good and evil. Because watch this, prior to them partaking of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, if we follow the allegory, then we can assume and assert that everything was all good. Everything was all great, wonderful, and divine. But how do you know good without evil? How do you truly experience good? How do you truly intimately know good if there is not the opposite, evil? How do you know good without it? How do you know healing without sickness? How do you know joy without sadness? Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's the same principle that I was speaking of earlier, that when the all of everything was all that there was, it knew itself conceptually, but it could not know itself experientially because it was all that there was. In order for it to know itself experientially, it had to create the opposite of itself in order for it to know itself and to experience itself, an expression of itself that seems to be lesser than itself, to experience itself. And in order for you to experience good, there had to be evil. The law of polarity, that universal law of polarity. There has to be that other opposite that is there. So they partake of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, so they can become consciously aware of their goodness, their godness, their divinity. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Man, it's a good question. That is so good. One of these, I got something going on here where I'm not able to see all of the comments. How do I move this? Got it. Good. Okay. So that's a good question. So we left off with the soul. Well, us, all of us, along with God, as God, creating this thing called sleep so that the soul can fully experience and express itself, rejuvenate, revive itself, while fulfilling its purpose in three-dimensional form. I responded. I'll read the last part of what God said, and then I'll read my response to what he said, and then its response. The soul seeks a true state of being. The soul is lightness and freedom. It is also peace and joy. It is also limitlessness and painlessness, perfect wisdom and perfect love. It is all these things and more. Yet it experiences precious few of these things while it is in the body. And so it made an arrangement with itself. It told itself that it would stay with the body as long as it needs in order to create and experience itself as it now chooses, but only if it could leave the body whenever it wished. It does this daily through the experience we call sleep. My response to that was, but I thought we all fell asleep because the body needed rest, because the body was tired. And it responded back to me. God said, you are mistaken. It is the other way around. The soul seeks rest, and so it causes the body to fall asleep. Did you get shots? Listen, the soul seeks rest, and so it causes the body to fall asleep. The soul literally drops the body, sometimes right where it's standing, when it's tired of its limits, tired of the heaviness, tired of the lack of freedom of being with the body. It will also, it will just leave the body when it seeks refueling, when it becomes weary of the non-truth, false reality, imagined dangers, when it seeks once again reconnection, reassurance, restfulness, and reawakening for the soul. Listen. Listen to this. Now, I know this is a lot. Breathe deeply and take it all in. Okay? When the soul first embraces the body, it finds the experience extremely difficult. It's very tiring, particularly for a newly arriving soul in this three-dimensional form. That is why babies sleep a lot. When the soul gets over the initial shock of being attached to the body once more, it begins to increase its tolerance for that, and it begins to stay with it more and more. And therefore, the body is awake more and more. At the same time, that part you call your mind moves into forgetfulness, just as it was designed to do. Even the soul's flights out of the body, taken now on a less frequent but still usually daily basis, do so not always bringing the mind back to remembrance. Indeed, during these times, the soul may be free, but the mind may be confused. Thus, the whole being may ask, where am I? What am I creating here? These searchings may lead to a fitful journey, even frightening ones. You call these trips nightmares. Sometimes just the opposite will occur. The soul will arrive at a place of great remembering. Now the mind will have an awakening. This will fill it with joy and fill it with peace, which you will experience in your body when you return to it. Did you, man, hold on. Let me just pause. Did you catch what I just said? Did you catch all of what was just said? The soul, because it is limitless, boundless, accustomed to its freedom, being painless, botherless, not having all of the cares, worries, and concerns of this three-dimensional form. It resists all of that. And so when a soul newly enters a three-dimensional form, it grows tired and encumbered by all of the limitations and the constraints. And so as a consequence, the body sleeps often. This is why babies basically sleep all the time. It is the soul adjusting to being in form that is so limited and constrained. And then as the soul becomes more accustomed to its new surroundings and its new constraints and limitations, they start to sleep less and less and less and less. Yet the soul still continues its daily trek away from the body so that it can rejuvenate and experience and express itself fully and freely without all of the worries and pains and fears and doubts and misconceptions that we hold within the mind in this body. Okay, hold on. Kiwi says, let me put my glasses on because I can't see it. That makes so much sense. Several years ago, when my brother was sentenced to prison, we went to court and my mom had worked 24 hours. She was anxious and stressed and tired. She was standing and just fell asleep and dropped to the floor. Her soul was tired, huh? Yes. 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 Nothing frustrates, aggravates, agitates the soul more than the limitations it experiences within the human form. And when we encumber it with fear and doubt and stress and anxiety and all of these other things that we create, we are creating it. Remember, we live within the matrix of the reality that we create. It tires it. And as a result, the soul will just drop the body, causing it to sleep so that it can free itself of those limitations, rejuvenate and revive itself, and return to the body, rejuvenated and refreshed. And is that also why when you get depressed, you see exactly? You just hit it on the head. That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. All of those are agitations to the soul. That depression, suppression, anxiety, frustration, stress, anger. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes. Yes. it got much more detailed and more deep than this, because I was like, so is that the reason why babies cry so much? And he's like, yes, those new souls are adjusting and becoming accustomed to being within those limited spaces in that limited form. I said, but okay, but there are some babies that don't cry a lot. There are some babies that, they seem to make the transition very easily. He said, those are old souls. It said those are old souls that are familiar with the journey and therefore accustomed to the transition, and they don't require as much. It's not as much traumatic for them as it is of a new soul. Man, I'm telling you this. I know. This is a lot. I know this is a lot. I'm going to read this last part because I'm already over time. The more your whole being experiences the reassurance of these rejuvenations, and the more it remembers what it's doing and trying to do with the body, the less your soul will choose to stay away from the body. For now, it knows that it came to the body for a reason and with a purpose. Its desire is to get on with that reason and with that purpose, and to make best use of the time that it's going to be with the body that it has. Are you hearing me? Soul understands that it's with this body, with this form, in this iteration of being, for the purpose, for a specific purpose, for a specific reason, and it is anxiously wanting to get on with fulfilling that particular purpose so that it can exit this body and move on to its next assignment. Are you understanding me? Yes? I said, are you understanding what I'm saying? So the soul is constantly leaving the body. It is constantly, every night as you sleep, every day. So for some of us that fall asleep during the day and taking naps, you find your body just shut down. It's just like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even planning on this shutting down, but the soul was looking for an opportunity to experience and express itself. Now, where does it go? Where is the soul journeying to? Where is it going to limitlessly experience and express itself? We'll cover that in our next conversation because I'm over time. Where is it? Where is it going? And are we consciously aware of where it goes? Now, I covered that a little bit tonight, where it talked about where the nightmares come from, and then where other dreams that we call prophetic, or we call them informed dreams, or we call them, something else along those lines, are all a part of the experience of the places and spaces where the soul journeys. Okay? Yes, when you're excited about reaching goals, you don't want to sleep. It's hard to fall asleep because the soul is focused on purpose, fulfilling its purpose in being here. Okay, yes, indeed. Good stuff. I'm putting those up there because I can't really see them on my screen, so I'm having to just click them in order for me to be able to see what you said. Okay? So we're going to talk more about, in our next conversation, where is the soul going? Where is the journey? And please understand, when I use terminology like going, journeying, that I'm using those terms because those are the terms that we are most familiar with, but they are really, in the literal sense, a misnomer, because time is an illusion. So is space. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next conversation to set up that whole conversation for us. Time is an illusion, so is space. There is really no past or present or future. Everything is happening. Everything that will happen is happening right now, simultaneously in the eternal moment of now. All throughout the multiverse. And I'll talk more about that in the next conversation as well, to lay the groundwork for where the soul goes, what the journey entails, what the experiences are, and where our dreams as well as our nightmares come from. Is this helping anybody? Is this helping anybody? If you were helped, please say so in the comments. Say something. Is this helping you? Is it informing you? Is it intriguing you? Is it igniting you to do more study and research? Is it impacting you positively? Please make a comment and let me see that. Put my glasses on so I can see it. Yes. That's a good question, Theresa. I'm not gonna get into the answer for it. I'm gonna save it for the next one. I'm gonna save it for our next conversation. She asked, does it go to the conscious mind that is most like itself? I'm going to save it for the next conversation. That's a really good question. I promise you I won't forget it. Okay? There's a lot more of you that are on here. Please make a comment. Let me know that you're being impacted by it, or that it raised some questions in your mind, or even if you didn't agree with everything that I said, that's fine. But just, make some kind of comment about whether you liked it, you didn't like it, you understood it, you didn't understand it, it impacted you positively, or you think it's a bunch of gobbledygook and foolishness. That's okay. I don't take it personally. So, just whatever. But do make a comment. Do make a comment. Do make a comment. And while I'm waiting for your comments to pop up, I do want to encourage you to get a copy of my new book. If you have not done so already, order your copy of Words to Live By, Volume 2. It is a fantastic collection of different sayings and quotes that I have put out over the years that I know will be helpful to you. So make sure you get your copy of it, as well as the new book, Inner Sense. Inner Sense. This is discussing developing your interior spiritual senses. And so just as you have 5 natural senses, you have other inner spiritual senses that you can develop. And here's a good book that will help you along the way in developing those senses. So please go ahead and order your copy. You can order it on the website, or you can order it on Amazon. Yes, indeed. You can go to Amazon and order your copy of the book today, and it'll be shipped out to you right away. Also, remember that when we finish this particular topic, we're going to begin the 4 agreements. So you need to go ahead and get your copy of the book. If you haven't gotten it already, go ahead and get it. We're going to begin our study of the 4 agreements, and we're going to walk through the book, each one of those agreements, and have a robust conversation about each and every one of them. So if you haven't gotten your copy of it, go ahead and get you a copy of the 4 agreements. Okay? Get that book. It's going to be really good, very powerful, very powerful. I guess I'll come on. I was sitting here thinking about whether I'm going to do this tomorrow night or not. I guess I will. I'll come back on tomorrow night at 7:30 again, and we will pick up where we left off tonight in this conversation about the adventures of the soul. Tomorrow night at 7:30, if you promise to meet me here, I promise to meet you here, and we'll have a really good time and a good conversation on tomorrow night. Now, if you'd like to give tonight, and I do hope that you do, please take advantage of the information that's on your screen. You can give by Cashapp, or you can use Zelle, whichever means that you use. Please be generous in your giving and supportive. When you do so, you help me to expand and build on this platform. It's also a way of showing your appreciation for what you are receiving here. No certain amount that you give whatever you feel like you'd like to give. Those who are partners and who have agreed to tithe to this ministry of this work, then you can do that there as well. Again, you're not obligated to do anything, but if you decide to do so, then I would greatly appreciate it, and I'd be grateful for your support, and thank each and every one of you. So take a moment and decide what you'd like to give right now, and do that right now. Before we go off the air, go ahead and pick up your phone and open up your Cash App or your Zelle, your banking app, and send whatever gift that you'd like to give. Do that right now. All right. So it's been real. It's been a really good conversation. It's been a wonderful experience with each and every one of you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7:30 right here on Facebook and YouTube Live. Until then, you have an absolutely splendiferous night and an even better tomorrow. Good night, everybody.